Now let's see synclitism. So synclitism is going to be, this is like a kind of parallelism we have between the plane of the pelvis of the mother and the fetal head. Normally the fetal head should be in the plane of the mid pelvis, but here what happens is we have an anterior or a posterior inclination or deviation of the sagittal suture. So let's do a draw of this, because really explaining synclitism is easier to draw it than write what does it mean, because there is a lot of confusion between synclitism and the normal variety of position of the toconomic point. So let's draw first the variety of position of the toconomic point. Remember, we are using the example of a vertex presentation. So remember, we have this is the pelvis, this is anterior, this is posterior, this is right, this is left. So we put the pelvis this way, so this is anterior, goes now on the top, and posterior now goes below on the bottom. So this is the maternal pelvis. Okay. We have this sacrum here. No, we have the sacrum here. Here the pelvis. The iliac bone, pelvis again, iliac bone, pelvis. So kind of this. So anyway, this is the symphysis of the pelvis. This is the iliac wing, this is the iliac wing, and this is the pelvis, and this is the sacrum. So we have occiput anterior position, left occiput, occiput posterior, right occiput, and the intermediate, which is left occiput anterior, right occiput posterior, left occiput posterior, and the right occiput anterior. So let's review or have a 3D dimension visualization of the variety of position of the toconomic point, which is the occiput with the maternal pelvis. So in the draw and in like this longitudinal view. So this is the toconomic point. We have again a longitudinal presentation, so the longitudinal axis of the fetus is parallel to the longitudinal axis of the mother. We have a cephalic presentation, which is in this case vertex presentation. So we can have occiput anterior position, so the occiput is pointing anterior, is occiput anterior. The pelvis we tilted this way to put it in the draw, so this is occiput anterior, occiput anterior. Then we have left left occiput anterior. So being from here to left occiput anterior, left occiput anterior, then left occiput. So from here towards here, this is left occiput. Remember, the fetus is this way. Then this is left occiput posterior. So this is left occiput, tilted a little bit more. This is left occiput posterior, because it's starting to point this way. So left occiput posterior. Then this is occiput posterior, pointing posteriorly. This posterior, this posterior. So here occiput posterior, because pointing here posteriorly. Then we have right occiput posterior. Here this was occiput posterior, tilted a little bit to the right. This is right occiput posterior, because pointing to the right but posteriorly. So right occiput posterior, tilted more, right occiput. So right occiput variation. Then right occiput anterior, because pointing up. Yeah. So right occiput anterior, because it's starting to point in front, which is anterior. So right occiput anterior, and then occiput anterior again. Right occiput anterior again. Again, the toconomic point is in the anterior, pointing to the anterior part of the pelvis. Now, what is synclitism? Synclitism is we're going to have an anterior posterior deviation of the sagittal suture. So here I will draw head in left occiput position. So this is the head. Let's say here is the eye, this is the occiput, like this. Here is the sagittal suture. Here is the sagittal suture. Now, what happened when we have synclitism? So let's draw again the pelvis of the mother. Something like this is pelvis. The fetal head, as we saw here, this is left occiput variation of position. Here this is also left occiput posterior. Remember, this is anterior, this is posterior. But what is synclitism? With this same variation of position, I can tilt the head some way anteriorly, or the sagittal suture can be tilted anteriorly or posteriorly, but this is not changing this position. So I don't think I can draw this in a 3D dimension because here this is, sorry, I was putting in the wrong way the baby. This is the baby, this is the baby, this is left occiput position, this is the sagittal suture in this plane. The sagittal suture can be tilted anterior or posterior, so this is independent of having this position. Remember, the variations we did was like in this plane, rotating the baby in this plane. This gives us left occiput anterior, right occiput anterior, and so on. But the axis, the sagittal suture, here in the transverse position is perpendicular to the plane of the pelvis. But what happens if the sagittal suture is tilted some way anteriorly or posteriorly? So this still is not affecting the position of the toconomic point. So the position of the toconomic point is like changing in this plane, but the head can be tilted anterior, this is anterior, and this posterior, can be tilted anterior or posterior, but it's the same. Here we have right occiput position, but let's do a synclitism. So the head will be, for example, tilted anteriorly, but see how the toconomic point still is there, still in the right occiput position. We can have a left occiput anterior position, so it's a left occiput anterior position, but the sagittal suture can be tilted some way anteriorly. So this is the synclitism is when we have an anterior posterior deviation of the sagittal suture. So here is the sagittal suture. We can have an anterior or posterior deviation. So let's say it's like a movement of the head in the plane that is not the plane of the pelvis, or of the way that the head is rotating. So the head is rotating, the variative position is in this plane, so x and y, for example, x and y. But the synclitism is a deviation or a movement of the head in the z plane, so, or z plane. So this is x, this is y, and this is z plane. We can see how here we are moving the head in the z component. So this is x, in fact, yeah, this is x, this is y, see, and set z is in this plane. The head is moving, in fact the head is moving in the x and y position, but it's not affecting this position. So I don't think I can draw it this way. Let's say the is like having the head. Let's say this is the head. Well, the sagittal suture is like, I don't know, it's pointing anteriorly or posteriorly, but it's not affecting the toconomic point that is like the point. Better of drawing it, I think, is better visualizing it. So again, it is not affecting the position. The variety of position is changing along this circle. In each variation of position, we can have synclitism. For example, here we can have left. This is left occipital position. This is the toconomic point. Here the sagittal suture is in this plane, the pelvis is in this plane. What if the sagittal suture is tilted some way anteriorly? So now let's see how its head here is not like this. Now the head is this way. The sagittal suture is tilted anteriorly, or the sagittal suture can be tilted posteriorly, this way. But see how the toconomic point is still pointing to the left, is not changing this. So synclitism is a kind of parallelism between the plane of the pelvis and the fetal head. Instead of having the pelvis in this plane and the sagittal suture in this plane, the sagittal suture is tilted anteriorly or posteriorly, making a kind of parallelism with the pelvis. And obviously this makes the delivery more soft.